Well, Josh Potter, thanks for doing the pod, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, dude.
Yeah. I Googled you before we started here, and
Oh boy.
do you want to see what the top 3 things that came up?
Ah, fuck. I hope it's just like my Twitter, my Instagram, and that's it.
It's all comedy, so
Okay.
you're the most famous Josh Potter that came up
Okay.
for me at least, and they were all podcast related. So one was, is Josh Potter a human? I guess
Oh yeah.
that's
Okay.
is Josh Potter's disgusting apartment?
Yeah. That's top 3 now, huh?
Yeah, and now how does Josh Potter get laid?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's working.
Those are the top 3 now, huh? Wow, look at that. I was like, be my Twitter.
Yeah. But your most
Those are
famous headshot is you without a beard.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is it the yellow shirt one?
I didn't see the color, but you were very clean cut. I almost didn't recognize you. I'm like, oh, that's not the guy.
Yeah, there's like a yellow shirt one, and there's a red shirt one that's bad. I mean, the red shirt one's actually decent. I just have hair, which I don't have anymore. And the yellow shirt one, I have hair, but it's like going away. And I'm definitely clean cut in it. But I have headshots out there. Just people choose not to use the right ones. So
Yeah.
I send them the proper ones. And then I get the flyer and I'm like, oh, you used the other one instead. Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel?
And then it becomes...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. And then it becomes like the highest one on the Google image or whatever. So
yeah. I feel like once something is popular, like it's hard for it to get knocked down at all.
I have no idea how that shit works. I mean, considering the things that you just mentioned that are my top 3 happened in one of them happened within a month. So.
Oh, like within a month of each other?
No, I mean within a month of today, in the past month, I guess I should say. So the fact that it's the top one is crazy.
Yeah, totally. Your following's been growing. I mean, it seems like it's pretty steadily rising and rising. So maybe what you're doing now is the most popular stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's just weird that it's just funny that it's the top 3 already. That's crazy.
Do you want to tell the few people who maybe don't know who you are about what you do and how you become so famous for your top 3 items here?
I wouldn't say it's so famous, but I'm on a Tom Segura and Christina P's podcast every now and again called Your Mom's House. And I've been on just a slew of others outside of that too. But that one's the one I've mostly been on. And I helped I helped at least in the beginning do more so of the production end of things too. So that was cool, obviously, to help out with that. But it helped get me on the show more. And so, yeah, that's how I did it, I guess, for now. So we'll see what happens next in the pandemic here.
Totally. It's a crazy time. What does producing a podcast entail for those who don't know?
It's a lot of stuff. It's just making sure you got the prep going. It's making sure, you know what you're going to do that day. It's making sure the guest's cool with everything. And, it's just running a show, I mean, it's weird because people ask that question and you're like, well, it's just the obvious stuff. It's but I guess to some people it's not that obvious. But yeah, no, it's clips and making sure that end of things all set, all the technical stuff's there. So there's not we're not stopping 1,000 times or, losing recordings and stuff like that. So there's that end of things. And then making sure everything's ready to go to actually physically do a show and everything like that,
Yeah. Oh, so it's a little technical. You're making sure that everything's not being lost in the recording and setting it all up and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't necessarily doing those things, but those are things that are involved in producing a podcast or a show of any sort, really, quality control, and logging and all that kind of stuff too.
Right. Logging all the stuff.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can go into it. I mean, it depends how detail oriented your team is or you are, and how much you want to get out of it. You got to get promos and stuff, so you got to log those things and clip those out. And there's post-production and there's pre-production meetings and things like that. So there's all kinds of stuff that can go into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of little nuances and little things, little tasks. It's like a huge task list, checklist, all these things are happening. And then after the pod, like you're saying, I've got to clip this, make sure you have it in this format for this medium, this format for this medium.
No, there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, and we have a great bunch of guys that do that shit for, went to school for that kind of stuff. So
Right.
they're so fucking fast at that shit. I can't even fathom it,
Yeah.
turning stuff around for the next day, or even just like sometimes same day some stuff, and like, thumbnails and all this shit, and like getting it out to this medium and this social media and all that kind of crap.
Yeah. I'm a one man operation over here, so I basically have
It's
all
all
this.
you by
It's all
yourself.
I'm just like loading into Premiere. I'm learning all this stuff, but it's been kind of fun, and now I have a template for everything. So I'm just kind of like I know what I got to do, and if I don't get lazy, it actually goes pretty well.
That's great. Yeah, I wish I knew how to. I mean, I thought I'd pick more up, but it's just that they're so busy over there that it's
Yeah.
like, it's not like a learning hospital. It's not like fucking ER, where it's like, this is a learning hospital. So I follow them around and like, it's
Right.
their job to teach me or something like that, They're just
Yeah.
trying to get their work done. So
Yeah. They need you to do your tasks, I'm sure, as
yeah,
opposed to
exactly.
learning all the technical stuff, which it sounds like they have other people as well.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. And we met at the world famous Van Nuys Comedy Club.
At the Van Nuys Comedy Club, that's where we met.
I think so.
I thought it was the, um, I don't remember. I thought it was the fourth wall, but no, yeah, that's crazy. Van Nuys Comedy Club, the old Springbok there.
The Springbok, yeah, a
It's
comedy
coming back,
room.
I hear.
Is it really?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought maybe it would be one of those ones that's just like, fuck masks, we're coming back, but I have no idea.
Yeah, it could be Van Nuys, but you're also,
Yeah.
or just say it's coming back now, and if it happens, you're right, and if it doesn't happen, you're just ahead of the curve. So
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
yeah,
But yeah, that was I've only done that one time, so I remember that vividly.
yeah.
And I remember that was the first time I took the bus to like the valley.
Oh wow.
And yeah, no, it was. So I learned how to take the bus to the valley through that experience.
Does it go on the highway? I've never seen a
No,
bus on the highway.
it goes. It has its own little expressway thing.
Mm.
That's how I learned it. I never knew where it was. You go to North Hollywood,
Yeah.
and then you get on the orange line, and it has its own little bus street.
Oh, nice.
So it just shoots down that. It's a pretty straight shot, and the Springbok's right like along it, actually.
Yeah. I've taken the bus a few times in LA. Sometimes it actually works out. Like I took it to the train to go downtown one time from the valley, and it was
I do
actually,
that shit all the time.
it was pretty sweet. You
Yeah, no,
bypass all the
dude.
traffic.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly the bus I was talking about there. You just bypass all the traffic. It's air conditioned.
Yeah.
Right now, there's nobody on it right now too, so it's pretty great.
Nice. And then the second,
Yeah, cool stuff. Bus
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, this is the bus, the transit pod. Someone's probably got
But yeah,
a transit pod out there telling
that
you all
show
the routes.
was actually like one of my first shows that I got to do in LA, where I was in front of people that weren't comics. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just people at a bar that didn't know a comedy show was happening.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like suburbs and inside of like an Applebee's kind of place,
Yeah.
sports bar-y type place, and it felt like home. Yeah, for sure. To come in and be like, hey, there's a comedy show happening. People are like, I don't know what's going on here, and you just kind of like have to get them to laugh.
Yeah. Did it feel, you're from Buffalo, New York? Did it feel like Buffalo in there?
Yeah, a little bit. In fact, there were people from Buffalo in there, which was weird. I remember like at that show, people being like, I had like a Bills hat on or something, and someone from the crowd like said they were from Buffalo. So I was like, I felt extra at home. And I think I had just moved here like, I don't know, a few months before that, or maybe even like 6 months, maybe at the most before that. So
Nice.
yeah, it was kind of crazy. Yeah, it was a weird show for sure.
Oh, so you're fairly new in LA.
Yeah, I moved here in 2017. So end of 2017.
Nice. Yeah. It's pretty good progress for only being here a couple years.
Yeah, I made sure I had some stuff in my pocket before I came out here, but
Yeah. Not just a bus ticket and a
nevertheless,
dream like
exactly.
in the movies.
Yeah, I made sure I spent a lot of time doing comedy elsewhere before I came out here. So
Yeah. And I read in your bio you won a Helium comedy competition.
yeah, I won the first one they had in Buffalo. Every year they have at their clubs, like whatever city the club is in, they have like that city's funniest person contest. And the first one that they had in Buffalo when the club opened up, I won that one. So I never had to do it again, thank God, because I fucking hate contests.
Is
And
it like
so
a bracket style contest where it's like versus, or is it just like general
no, it's
voting?
just like sessions. So it's like you go through rounds, and I think I forget how many rounds it was, 3 rounds maybe. And the first round, it's like there are people. I mean, when you sign up for the Helium one, especially, first of all, if you want to work the club, you have to sign up. So like
Oh,
all the regulars sign up, and they that's the only reason I did it. I would never have even entered the contest had they not made that like stipulation. And so I signed up, and it's people who don't even do comedy too. Like someone off the street just pays $25. They can be in the contest too. So you have like a bunch of people like that as well. And you're looking at these names, and it's like Jerry the Clown, and you're like, who the fuck's that? I've never seen this person at an open mic or
yeah, yeah.
anything, you know. And it's like then you have like fucking wild names too, like they're rappers or something. So you're like, who's this fucking guy that's gonna come? Like, so then you get there and you do it and whatever. It's just kind of like, and the first one is like audience vote, which is terrible because then some shitty people will get through if they just get all their fucking friends and family to come out. So it's just a way to sell tickets for it. And then the I think the final round or the last 2 rounds has like judges, but I can't remember if it's both of them or not. But regardless, I didn't bring anybody out. But luckily I like was on the radio in Buffalo. So I had some people who were like, oh, I know who that guy is. And they didn't come necessarily to like see me or to vote for me, but like they paid attention to my set so I could like do it and like, you know.
Yeah, you had
So
some recognition.
Yeah, so they watched me at least. And then so I won that and I never had to do it again, thank God.
Yeah, it sounds like it runs similar to the one they do here at Flappers in Burbank. Like you just bring your friends.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
they're all the same.
it gets kind of padded. Yeah, similar. It's a similar stamp process, I'm sure, at all of them.
Yeah, they're all the kind of like a bringery type thing. But like again, like I said again, even to just like work the club, you know, it didn't mean like sure maybe they'll find a new talent or something to work the club in the contest, but for the most part, you know, they were like, if you're working this club, you better do this contest and support the contest and bring like legitimacy to the contest. So
yeah,
they made everyone do it.
Yeah. And then I think the second time I ran into you was with Mark Normand at the Improv bar. We were kind of hanging out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a crazy night because he had come and done the Comedy Bunker, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to the Improv later." I was like, "All right, I might see you there." And then I walked in.
Well, he did the Improv first.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then he went and did the Comedy Bunker, and then he came back to do the Improv.
That's right. I mean, that's how hard the guy works, and that's maybe you didn't know at the time, but that's a big trek in between those two shows.
Well, yeah, I didn't know at the time. I mean, I knew. I was like, isn't that out in Sherman Oaks? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, you can't just like bop back and forth between West Hollywood and Sherman Oaks. You know, it's not like New York. It seems, I mean, I'm sure that's what he's used to, is doing that in New York. And I don't even know how they do that in New York because I feel like it's the same issue.
It's so stressful still in New York.
Exactly. That's my point. Like, there's no train to get you really from where you are on Melrose there where the Improv is to the Bunker. So, you know, there's no public transit. Even in New York, I guess taking the train would be better, but taking an Uber in New York is just as stressful for that amount of miles. You know? So I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe it just looked good on paper and then he just tried it, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you look at the map of LA and you're like, oh, that's pretty close. You're just like,
oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you think like, I mean, I'm from Buffalo and I remember like when you drive 15 miles, it's like nothing. You know, you're there in 10 minutes.
But at night, it's probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes at the most. So it's not terrible. It's like
well, I mean, going from like East Hollywood to the Valley is sometimes it takes like an hour depending on traffic. So that's brutal, which is like crazy. And that's like 15 miles. So it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that was wild. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I saw you. I didn't even know if he was going to come back.
Yeah.
I saw him. He was like, meet me at the Improv. And I was like, okay, cool. And I'll see you there. And then I'm hanging out there and I see like Bert there and stuff and a couple other people. And then I'm like looking on Instagram and I see he's at the Bunker, like at your show. And I was like, there's no way he's making it back here in time. There's just no chance. And then sure enough, he somehow did it. So
yeah. He was really quick. He came on, did his set, and he got back in a car. And he had this great line. He's getting in the Uber. I was like, all right, thanks for doing the show. And he's like, hey, if you hear, there's this other show he was supposed to do. He's like, if you know those guys, you never heard of me. And gets in the
Oh,
car
that's
and
funny.
goes and heads back to the Improv. And then when I showed up, the door guy grabbed me and he's like, hey, I got to talk to you. And he had this like stern look on his face. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, maybe am I like walking in too brazenly now? Like did I do something wrong? And he pulls me into this hallway where no one was. And he's like, hey, Rogan's talking about the Comedy Bunker. Make sure you talk to him before you leave. And I was like, oh
Oh,
shit.
nice.
And so I walk around the corner and then Mark kind of like waves me over and you're there. And he like totally introduces me to Rogan, which is like, that's how good of a guy Mark is. He's so generous and just
Oh
so,
yeah, for sure.
yeah. Then we were all chopping it up, us four at the bar, and all the crazies are trying to talk to Joe. And
Yeah, that was wild. I
it
mean,
was
it's
super
always
wild.
wild being around that guy, and seeing all that kind of shit. But yeah, the crazies for sure.
Yeah.
At just hanging out at the Improv bar, it's like I would just be like, I'm going upstairs. I would even, the fact that he was hanging out at the Improv bar
Yeah.
was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But
I give him good credit for like really being able to handle that. And,
oh sure.
and also not just ducking out, because he could just walk into like, have two security guards escort him out and he's just like in with the people, which is probably why he stays so fresh.
Yeah, no, that's wild. It was wild and annoying. So I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
I would have been able to.
Yeah. And then Mark's like, you got to get Josh in the Comedy Bunker. I'm like, you got it. And then you've been one of the favorites,
dude, that show was fun as fuck, dude. I mean, the first time I came was like, I want to say it was like in the fall, maybe like in November or something, like before the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this shit is amazing. Oh yeah, definitely was November, because then when I came back, it was to see Mark again when he was in town.
Yeah.
And he was doing a set there, and then he was running late, and then you were like, do you want to go up?
Right.
The second time that was in December. It's crazy. It seems like 1,000 years ago, but it was just at the end of last year.
Yeah. It's weird because the time flux of the this whole virus, it is actually 7 months ago, which is a long time ago, but because like comedy's been slow.
In terms of comedy, it's not that long.
In terms of how many shows ago, it's not that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only 4 months ago in terms of shows ago,
Yeah.
Because I basically stopped in March.
But you're one of Sam's favorites, the guy who helps you run the show. And
cool. Thank you.
I love like your dark comedy style, because I go dark, maybe not as quite as dark as you. I go dark with like the family stuff, but I love it. It was
thank you.
Has that always been your style? Have you kind of like evolved over the years?
I guess. I mean, I always liked the darker stuff, but I think when I started, I came out a little too hardcore, and then I figured out how to do it where it was like maintaining some sort of like wink and a nod or whatever,
Yeah.
That's kind of like that was like how I had to like learn how to get better, was figuring out that like a line where I could say those dark jokes like to your grandma, you know what I mean? And they still come across the same way, but she's you know what I mean? Like it catches her even, you know what I mean? So that's always been the fucking battle, I think.
Yeah.
And so did it start that way? Probably. I think because the most fucked up shit always made me laugh. So 100%, I think it started that way.
And maintaining like, as long as you're likable, that's like a key element of like walking that line. If you like the guy, you can say, or girl, you can say dark things. Yeah.
It's about like gaining some sort of level of trust so that you can say whatever you want. I really think that's the whole magic trick of all of this,
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy who says all the clean, clever stuff, there's a trick to that too. Like he has to get people on board to like not get bored with that. You know what I mean? Like he has to be so charming that like the clean guy has to like not get stale.
Yeah.
Whereas like the dark guy has to be charming enough where it's like the dark stuff translates to anybody and everybody. I mean, I've had moments, even just like I started getting a little too comfortable, I guess you could say, like getting too used to like playing in front of crowds who maybe know who I am a little bit. And I went on a whole run of shows where it was like I was headlining and then like I was opening for Tom. So like those people started knowing who I was. And I got a phone call from like the club in Buffalo. I was in town. I was back home during November or something. And it was right after the Bunker shows, actually. And they called me and said Michael Ian Black is sick, and I was like, fuck, okay. And they're like, can you come do the shows? Can you like headline the shows? I was like, sure. So I just like walk in, I do my set like I normally do it, forgetting that like, oh yeah, these people came to see Michael Ian Black. They like came to see like I Love the '80s or whatever the fuck he does. I don't even know what he does, but I know it's not what I do. And I was in there. I should have did my like, I could have worked a little harder to like bring those people aboard. You know what I mean? But I got like lazy and forgot more or less that like, oh yeah, these aren't my people. These are just strangers. It's like when you're working on the road as a middle, it's the same thing. So you have your like set where you like introduce yourself and bring some truth to you and like kind of open the door before you get into all that dark stuff, or at least like you kind of temper it out a little bit. And then when I came out for these shows, I came out like hard in the paint, like just guns blazing like an asshole. And there was a woman who was like a physician or something at a hospital, and she went to the manager and goes like, I feel like I have to, out of my responsibility for my profession, report this man like I was the Joker or something. Like, and yeah, I put it on video, like, as one of the waitresses like filmed her saying this stuff. So I have a video of it
for what
on my
profession?
Instagram. What do you mean?
Like she said, I have to report this man out of a duty to my profession.
Oh, she was a physician.
Oh, so she thinks like you need help.
So she thinks like, yeah, it was like gonna be like it was like out of responsibility for the audience, like that I not say those words or something like that. I don't know. Like I was a shooter or something.
Okay, so it was like she's worried about not necessarily you, but like the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an interesting take on the physician. She should, isn't it like take care of you first? Like I don't care about this guy, but like all these other people, I think
it was a little bit of both too. Yeah. I don't know, but she was like, out of responsibility as a club manager, you shouldn't let this man say these words on stage, like wild stuff like that. I was just like, Jesus, lady.
People forget where they are so quickly.
Yeah, it's like I'm not like going up there saying like I'm like a fucking priest or some shit or like running for Congress or something.
It's a comedy club.
Yeah, right.
You don't. It's like you don't have to be there. He's not walking into your surgery yelling a bunch of crazy stuff in your face.
To see fucking like wasn't Wonder Kid kind of cool like as a show? Like I don't know what Michael Ian Black talks about, but like you know what I mean? Like I get she came in there to see like probably something a little more happier.
Yeah, or like, hang out with a celebrity, which is a big thing now. You kind of like
I don't know. He doesn't really hang out per se.
But even if he's not hanging with the people, like sometimes these more famous people can draw crowds just by feeling like you're sitting and watching them, and it's like a one-way conversation.
And Buffalo's a big like market for that, where they're like, oh my god, a person I know from a movie, I'm definitely buying a ticket to that, even if it's not like the best comedy show you're gonna see. They'll come see you if you're a celebrity 100%.
I like what you said about how the clean comic and the dirty not necessarily dirty but dark comic, they're kind of like yin and yang in a way. It's like the clean guy, he has to have something in it. It's almost like he has to be angry or something. Like you have to see something else in him that's not just the clean. And the dark guy, you have to see something that inspirational, that he's not just gonna kill everybody. Otherwise, it's just too much.
Yeah, I mean, both people have to have a personality and have to like be charming enough to get their bullshit across, you know?
Right.
Whether it be clean or dirty. Because if you're too clean and you're just like a clean guy who's just some fucking piece of white bread, you know, in a sweater, people are just going to be like, yawn. And then if you're just some guy who's like, you know, dead babies and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like people are gonna be like, this guy's stupid too. So it's like it's all a magic trick. It's like getting him on your team so you can say whatever the fuck you want, whether it be clean or dirty, you know.
How did you get onto Tom Segura's podcast?
He just asked me. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to that question, to be quite honest with you. I just got asked to do it one time, and then I was working at an office job down here. And I've been doing the road with Tom, you know.
Okay.
And
so he knew you as a comedian already.
Yeah, I've been doing the road with him since before he was doing theaters and stuff like that.
Okay.
I had worked with him like at a club once. And so we were doing clubs, and then, you know, eventually he started going on theater runs, and then we're doing theaters. And then he had like a real big theater tour, and he was like, if you want I'll give you all the dates for that, but you have to move to LA. So I moved here at the end of 2017, and then the tour wrapped up at the end of 2017. So then I had to like find a job. So I got some job in an office or whatever. And while I was working there, Tom's like, I'm going to start a studio. Do you want to work there? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to work there. So I hopped over there, helped them launch that kind of thing.
That's the importance of keeping good relationships and just being like a good person. It's like he liked you enough and like respected your work and you thought you were a good comic to bring you on the road. And then he's like, oh, this guy's cool. I can probably trust him. And then it built into something where, you had this great opportunity because like Tom or anybody, they're not going to put an ad out and say, looking for person who does XYZ. They're going to look around
Yeah,
the room and be like, who can do the job? This guy's good. Let's go. And that's kind of like LA in a way.
no, for sure. 100%. And I'm so thankful because I don't know what I'd be doing right now, but I fucking, yeah, I mean, there's probably people more definitely technically more, advanced than I am or skilled or all of those things experienced. But, I just did what I could and I just did all the things that was asked of me and kind of, just did whatever grunt work I could do just to like, cause I knew the benefits of it. And so far I've been able to reap those benefits. So
Yeah, there's something to be said about like just consistently showing up and doing the work, and then like all of a sudden a door will open, or all of a sudden you'll be in this new place. In a way, life is like a podcast now. It's like you just start, you kind of keep going and you keep going, and then all of a sudden you have 1,000 episodes and you sell your podcast to some big network or
yeah,
something.
it's just consistency and
Yeah.
grinding, really, to be honest with you.
Have you thought about launching your own pod?
Yeah, I mean, I think I will be soon enough. So you'll see that soon, hopefully. I can't say any more than that, unfortunately. But
Uh oh.
yeah,
Well, be on the lookout for something that has never been mentioned before.
no, but yeah, I'm gonna be doing one soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I mean, you already have the radio experience. You got a good voice for it, and you have a very, charming and interesting approach to things. So I think it'll be great, whatever you choose to
Thanks,
do.
dude. Yeah, whenever we can get it going. So hopefully soon.
Well, this will segue nicely into one of the things we always talk about is the goals in terms of like what we want to achieve this year in the business. And this is the weirdest year of all to be doing these things, but it
Yeah.
sounds like podcast is one of your goals. Like, what are the other goals
Yeah,
for
I mean,
this
my
year?
goals have exploded into a trillion pieces.
Yeah. Your
I
goals or your dreams have exploded.
All of it. I mean, it all really went to hell. Like, this year, going into this year, I had road dates, a lot of them,
Yeah.
especially for the spring, and yeah. So I mean, like, I was gonna hit the road hard, and then I was gonna shoot a thing. You know, I'm not gonna say a special, but like an hour or whatever. At the end of the summer or in the beginning of the summer, depending on how fast I felt it could come together or whatever. And then we were going to put it out on YouTube, like everyone's doing, and it was all going to be a thing. But all that went to shit, obviously. So
Yeah.
now my goal is to like stay alive until I can get back on stage again. And then, hopefully I can get, my dates are rescheduled, but hopefully they don't get bumped out again. And then I can get those reps in and shoot this shit and get it out there and then sell some more tickets. That's the goal, really.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the time frame is on that now, as opposed to what it was before. But that's always been my goal, is to just like be able to sell tickets on the road, and doing podcasts or whatever else was always to like facilitate that. And just as it started happening is when the virus occurred. So it's like the
Yeah.
worst. Makes me hate life, but it's whatever.
And we were so close. It felt like we were like, all right, it's getting better. We're slowly opening. And as soon as we just poked like one hand out the door, they're like, just kidding, slammed it on our face.
Oh
And
yeah, I went to
now,
San Diego to do shows, and then on the way home, it was like things are shutting down again. I was like, right as I was coming home, I'm like, oh great,
yeah.
cool.
Do you think there's an appetite in LA for outdoor shows, or is it kind of like too much backlash?
It's not that. I think people will do it, but who? I mean, not everybody is ready to go out yet. You know what I mean? Like it's not a mass thing anymore. And it's like until it's back in like the clubs and it's like it was going, I won't be like as happy.
Right.
And I don't know how long it'll take until that's the thing again. I don't know if that ever will be a thing again. Will people be, I mean, like I hope that it is. I hope there's more people that are like, I miss that than there are like, I'm scared to do that again. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out as the months and months go on. But again, none of this is happening anytime soon. So it really fucks with me when I think about it in that term. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, like the momentum. Like I keep thinking about like I should do an outdoor comedy bunker or just migrate it outside. But then it's like, is there actually some momentum with that? Like if you do that
Right.
once a month, is
It's
that
like for
good?
what? It's
Yeah.
like for what? You know what I mean? Like there's no other shows going on.
Hmm.
Comics are weary. It's like doing an open mic now. I know there are some like small open mics happening right now. It's like for what though? Like
Yeah.
what am I staying sharp for? So I could do not a show ever for the next 2 months, you know?
Right.
So it's really weird. And it's until it'll be like consistent again that I'll be like happy about it. I went to San Diego and did shows with Josh Adam Myers and David Lucas.
Oh yeah, I saw him
Um,
posted about that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I didn't know those guys were on the show till like, I mean, they just booked us to do 20 minutes instead of doing an hour, you know, like
Yeah, yeah.
they would normally a normal weekend. And that way, you know, they can pay us less because they're 25% capacity. So, and we can do less time, but it's good practice, you know, get 20 minutes,
Right.
blow some, you know,
Get the
carbon out of
cobwebs
your
off. Yeah.
fucking, yeah. So it was fun though. I mean, it was fun to get up and do like the first night was there was some clunky moments, but the second night it was like, I was fucking around again. It was fun, felt good. And it sucked though, because you also knew this is the last time I'm doing this again for maybe another 106 days or whatever it's been,
Right.
you know? So that part's wild and depressing, but you know, I mean, my goal is to just like make it out of this without fucking doing pills or something like that, and then getting to the other side and continuing my momentum that I had before I stopped. You know, so let's
Totally.
hope that's really the goal right now.
Yeah, a vaccine seems to be key to momentum because
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm sure if all the clubs opened up right now, they'd be packed. I'm sure people would go, but is that right? Is that going to make it worse? Is it going to make it better?
well, yeah, they won't do that until the governors let them do that, and
Right.
the whole thing is they're not going to. And the more spikes there are and things like that, the comedy clubs are the last thing on the list. I mean, it's literally the last thing on the list. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what they're arguing about arbitrary. Like back in New York, Buffalo's having a conniption because the governor has stated that like a restaurant that serves chicken wings doesn't constitute as a meal, so they can't like serve chicken wings and beer. You have to have like a sandwich and then you can serve beer or something to that effect. And it's like all of this is arbitrary. Like how does this affect the like, so if the place is serving chicken wings, the virus won't spread to the people there, but it will spread, you know what I'm saying? Like it's fucking stupid. And so they can't even figure that shit out. Meanwhile, comedy clubs are like 9 things down the list,
Hmm.
and ones that were starting to like open up, like down in San Diego, already had to like start peeling it back. And that's no way to like live for your employees. I mean, people are coming. I mean, now unemployment's running out anyway, but
Yeah.
people were coming off unemployment, and then they were like, "We're shutting it down again." And then the people are like, "So we're fucked again, or what? Do they have to reapply?" It's like fucking lightning striking twice if you get that shit twice, you know?
Yeah, and it's also like some of these classifications, they're just arbitrary. Like you sign up for a business, you're like, what do we do? Well, we're kind of a restaurant, we're kind of a club, let's say comedy club. If they're classified as a restaurant, which is also true, like you get different rules or like you're
Right.
saying, gyms can open, which seems crazy to me personally. But
Yeah.
so it's like nothing, there's no universal form. Everyone's just
Like
trying to
hair
like
salons
yeah,
can be open, but nail salons can't. Like,
yeah,
aren't you like right up in each other's face no matter what? I don't know. It's fucking
yeah.
stupid, but
I
it's
guess nails and hair is good for mental health. Like,
yeah, but one I forget which one it was. It was like nails can be open, but hair can't be. It
Yeah.
was one, or it was the other way around. I can't remember,
Right.
but it was like one or the other. And I was like, that isn't that the same thing? Like, why couldn't they both be open? But yeah, but like, why can't a person like? So when they opened the bars, I remember there was an explicit thing that said no open mics. And it's like, okay, so the bars can be open, but a guy can't be just like talking on stage. Even say you make him wear a mask, even like
Yeah.
I know that sounds ridiculous, even, but like he's so far away, he's on a stage. A person making noise out of their face like is gonna spread the virus. I don't understand it. So that part didn't make any sense to me. It just all seemed a little arbitrary, you know.
Yeah. I didn't see
But
that. Like,
whatever.
where did they say bars can open, no open mics? That's
It
crazy.
was it was when they opened up in California, when they opened up the bars, they put out the stipulations for it. Like when they rolled it out, it was, I don't remember, the last 2 weeks of June, maybe, like,
Yeah.
because they shut them down right before 4th of July again.
Right. That's so LA to be like, we know people are going to run and do open mics, no open mics. Let's
It
outline it.
specifically said in the outline for the rules of them reopening, you had to be social distant,
Yeah.
try to stay outdoors, blah blah blah, and then it said specifically no open mics
Right.
of any kind. And it
Well,
didn't even mean like comedy or music. It meant both,
oh,
obviously, just
right. Yeah.
no
That's a good point. No
performances, so
performances. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's for what you want for comedy is a tightly packed room with tight people with low, like,
Right. A thing
so
that might never happen again. Yeah, that's
yeah,
like
it's like the comedy virus. It's like the exact situation you need for comedy. The virus says no.
what's so fucked is I remember like comics talking like, man, this is like the new comedy boom, the new comedy boom. Like, I don't see what could bring it down this time. And then
Yeah.
sure enough, it's like, well, here it is. This is the thing. And comedy will survive. There will still be comedy, and
Yeah.
because of podcasting and things like that, people will still buy tickets to see certain people and still want to see comedy from those certain people. Maybe now more than ever, but if you're not one of those certain people, I don't know how you do it next. Like if you're an open micer and you're just fucked right now and you can't practice or get better, your life's just on pause.
Hmm.
So you got to kind of go back to what you were grinding at before.
Right.
And there's going to be less chances to get work. And by get work, I mean get paid.
Hmm.
And that's going to mean, I don't know what that's going to mean as far as like people are going to leave. For me, it never mattered about getting paid at first. Like I knew I wasn't going to get paid and I've always been poor. So I just was like, whatever, I don't care. But there were people that would like pull the ripcord because they weren't making any money in the beginning. And even if they were kind of funny, you know what I mean? And now I bet you're going to see some people who are already kind of working and just already kind of getting by pull that ripcord and be like, fuck this, because it's going to get hard again. They're going to go backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. A small crack is going to open and everyone at every level is going to try to fit through it. And so the more established people are going to get the jobs at first.
Yeah. If you can sell tickets, you're fine.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a trickle down thing because I don't know how long it's going to be till we have people in an arena, versus like, so it's like all a ticket numbers thing at this point. So it's like you're going to see guys like a Joe Rogan who does arenas be in a club again, or a Chappelle or whatever be in a club again, or a Bill Burr be in a club again. That means you're going to see clubs have more guys like that and less guys like, that are at the lower end of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then those guys might have to go back to middling. And then you're like, how many middle spots are open for the middles? And then there's not a lot for middles. And then the middles will be emceeing and then yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. It's kind of like leverage. It's almost like when you over leverage in real estate, like people buy a house and then use that to buy another house. And now like the main house can't pay rent and it's all trickling down to like, everything's just being pushed down that pyramid.
But I think if there is a vaccine and people are going to start going out to stuff, and I've seen it like in San Diego, I saw it a little bit. Like people are feverish to get out there and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one good thing. Like people are definitely going to get back out there again.
Yeah.
But it's going to take for it to happen like on the level and on the massive basis that it's been happening prior and leading up to this. It's going to take a vaccine, unfortunately, I think. But for it to get clipping along again, you know?
Yeah. There'll be a point like if it's 1 year, 2 years from now, whatever it is, we'll all look back and say, well, that was a crazy time. And all of our life will be back to normal and people will like forget about this.
Yeah, and then I think after that, I mean, if these clubs can hold on, God bless them. But if
Hmm.
they can't, there will be people that will find value in opening a comedy club beyond this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally. And also, like, if you're a person now in the arts in any capacity, it's like it really highlights like how vulnerable you can be if you don't have like a couple of things, like some sort of slash, like podcaster slash comedian or like actor slash, something else. Like if you need two or three buckets of things because one can just be taken away from you. Like for so long, they were told us like, oh, you don't need anything. You don't need to actually make money because you go on the road and that's where you make your money in music and comedy and all these things. And now it's like, well, what happens on the road is 80% of your income.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, um, what does happen? I mean, that was the one thing that was like still there, and I guess that just goes
Yeah,
to show. I mean, that you could really make that argument about anything. Like
that's true.
literally anything can go away. I suppose. Like I was thinking about that. I'm like, will comedians be like magicians or something? Like think about like
Or
magicians.
puppeteers.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like shit like that. Like shit that just like people saw on a regular basis. Like you'd go to the show to see this or that doesn't exist anymore, vaudeville or
Hmm.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's just things that have happened, rock music. I mean, like I don't know. But yeah, so it's just strange, like will that ever happen again? I know it will, but it's going to take, like I said, a while until like we're back in there, like breathing in each, feeling comfortable. I mean, like I don't know, when's the last time you were like, when I went to that comedy club in San Diego, it was 25% capacity, and that even felt a little weird being around that many people.
Yeah.
And I'm used to performing in front of um, theaters of people, and it's never bothered me. And this didn't bother me or anything. And being in like amongst that many people for the first time in so many months was just a weird feeling. And how
Yeah.
many people are going to be like, I can't go back out there? You know what I mean? Like we're all going to be a little weird around each other for a
We
while.
are
It's
weird.
going to,
Like this feels more
yeah,
normal. Like if I bumped into you on the street, we'd have to like there's like this unspoken thing. It's like, well, like how comfortable are you? Like and you're without fully discussing it. Like are we standing? Our masks on? Like everyone has their
yeah.
own set of like comfort level.
Right. Not only that, but just like think about then taking away all of that and just being around, being amongst hundreds of people, like for a concert or something
Yeah.
like that, or thousands of people. That I feel like anxiety is going to be like cranking up on that for some people, where they're going to be like not ready to get back and immersed into crowds like that again.
Yeah, for sure. Like anxiety for me too is like depends on what I read or what I'm thinking. If I start thinking about it too much, I start getting like anxiety. It's like, oh wow, it is worse than I think. But then if
Right.
or is it not? Like I'm at home, I'm safe. Like I don't know. Like there's so much
Right. No, for
unknown.
sure. But I'm not even saying in terms of like worried about contracting a virus or a disease or anything like that. I just mean in literal terms of isolation sense, like being away from, or being like not used to going to a concert for months
Yeah,
at a time, or a comedy show, being put back in that environment. People are going to act squirrely
yeah, yeah,
because they're just like not, they haven't done it in months. Do you know what I mean? So they're going to be weirded out by it. It's going to be like they forgot how to be around that many people again.
yeah. It's almost like you're going to like an undiscovered island and just like being like, hey, this is comedy. Here's a mic, and you're like, what? And you're funneling people into a
Yeah,
room
or
and
it's like taking like a person from a remote tribe or something and putting them in like Times Square and like blowing their brains with how many people are there. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be that feeling. It might be too overwhelming for people to get back out there and do those things at first.
yeah, I'm sure some people, even when I walk by like these outdoor restaurants, I'm like, some part of me is like, that seems awesome. And part of me is like, what's
Yeah,
wrong with
right.
you?
Well, dude, I walk by some of them and I go, it makes me like smile all of a sudden. It almost makes me want to like cry a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. Like, and I ate at a diner. I ate at like Fred 62 over on Vermont.
Oh, I love that
And
place. Yeah, it's
I
great.
said, well, what's funny is I said to myself, like, while I was eating there, I'm like, this is great. This is so cool. We're eating outside here right now. And I said 3 months ago, I would have been like, this restaurant's dog shit. Like I would have made fun, like I would have made fun of it. I would have been like, I don't want to eat there. But so I was like so excited to eat at a place
Yeah.
that I loved or that I didn't even care about usually. Like back 3 months ago, I was like, fuck Fred 62, let's go somewhere else. And then this time I was like, no, this is great. I'm so excited to do this, I don't
Yeah.
know.
No one's sending anything back. And if you send something back in a restaurant, you're a major asshole in this environment.
Right?
It has to be like moving on your plate or something.
Oh my god, and like having like waiters and waitresses and like not seeing their face expressions
Hmm.
because they're masked when they come up. Like you're allowed to take your mask off when you sit down or whatever at most places, but to not see their facial expression, you don't know. You're like, do they hate me? Are they mad at me? Did I say something wrong?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, a lot
So
of facial cues.
yeah,
It's all in the eyes now.
yeah, it's weird. So I'm always like, oh, they're mad at me.
Yeah. It's funny, like I'm watching you in the video and the background is the wall and the blinds, but through your
Oh yeah.
glasses, I'm slowly seeing the reflection of the rest of your place over time.
Oh, that's so funny. That's hilarious.
Well, dude, I really appreciate you doing the pod. This has been really fun.
Oh yeah,
Um,
thanks, man.
where do people find you?
I'm on Instagram. It's at Josh_Potter, and then on Twitter at J_Potter. And then I'm also been paying the bills through Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Josh_Potter. So those are the best places right now.
Nice. How do you
You
pay
know,
the bills through Twitch, if you don't mind me asking?
I just play video games on there, and people subscribe and follow along and stuff like that. So
Oh, nice. What do you play?
I play Madden, I play MLB The Show, and I'm going to start playing NHL
Oh, nice.
soon.
Sports games.
Yeah, all sports games. Yeah.
Nice. I play a little bit of Fortnite and what's the other one? Call of Duty with some friends.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Warzone or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones move too quick for me. I get a little too. It's like real war. I'd be pretty bad at it probably. So
Sometimes I do get like PTSD from it. You're really mowing people down. It's
yeah, right. They're pretty violent, but aside from that, they're like fast, and I'm always like, I get like spawned, and then I just get destroyed real quick. It's like real. Like I never see the people coming. Like it would be how I am in a real battle. I would be like, what, and then I die. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
first off the boat.
Yeah.
Um, I see or I've seen the ads for the show. It looks really good. I love baseball, so I thought about
Oh, I
picking it
love the
up.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun game for sure. I'm obsessed with it.
So I'll subscribe to your channel, and through the channel, it's like little tips, kind of like Venmo or something. You do like that?
People do that. People Venmo. People just subscribe. Like through Twitch, they have their own system of that kind of thing, donations and stuff. So people do that, like cheers and bits and all that, and just the subscription alone, like the Twitch Prime subs through the Amazon Prime and blah blah blah. Like there's a bunch of different ways. I'm still learning it myself, to be honest with you. I've only been doing it for a couple months, but
Oh, that's great.
yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
And do you impose your head like on the Twitch?
Mine is very rudimentary at the moment. It's very archaic. Like I just stream off my PlayStation 4,
Okay.
but I am getting a computer built so that I can do all that kind of. I won't do like that kind of crazy of overlays and stuff like that, but I will just just to have a better setup.
Yeah.
I'm getting a computer built. So
Right, but you're developing like a similar personality to your comic personality on Twitch, so people like
oh yeah,
tune
it's
in for
basically
you.
like a podcast more or less. Yeah, people are just watching me talk. Sometimes these things I do. I just like get high and get drunk and talk shit and like. Sometimes they last like fucking 10. Like last night's was like 10 hours. So I mean, like they last a long fucking time. Like right now, I'm having like why is my throat? I've had moments where I'm like I have coronavirus? My throat's been bothering me.
Right.
But it's like, no, you were just streaming for like 10 hours last night, you fucking psycho. So I'm just talking the whole time, like I'll reply to the chat or whatever and go back and forth with people and stuff like that. It's all pretty friendly. But yeah, all that is a lot of fun, and it's like a nice outlet, especially not leaving the house or.
Mm-hmm. And it's social too. I do it mostly like I don't really play by myself, but if I'll text some friends and be like, hey, do you want to play? And we'll play together.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Like just alone, I can do like just me and my buddies play Grand Theft Auto all the time. But like this is more like it's like performing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a couple hundred people in there, and you're on a camera and you're just talking and trying to be funny and get people to laugh and donate and all that kind of shit. So it is like you're working again almost. But
oh, interesting.
But it's not, you know what I mean? It's also not, it's still just kind of like, I want to get back to doing comedy, but this is a fine, I don't have to like, I don't know what else I would do, but
yeah,
I mean, this is a fine way to like supplement some money. So
Yeah, I'm selling my PlayStation the second I get out of coronavirus because it's
that's hilarious.
right now it's fine, but I have a very addictive personality. So if like there's goals and the games are
Right.
so designed to like gamify little achievements and they mean nothing, but I'll spend all this time trying to like land here, get this thing,
And you
and
don't want to do that shit when coronavirus is over. You don't want to be stuck on
well, I want to be back
PlayStation
into.
still.
I feel like I want to be back into real. Like I don't stream like you, so it's not like
Yeah, yeah.
a venue for other things for me. It's really just a social thing and kind of sometimes a waste of time for me.
Well, that's what like somebody. I mean, I was doing video games like playing like all night, playing the show,
Yeah,
just batting, even just doing batting practice. And then someone was like, at the studios who worked in Twitch, they were like, you should stream probably and probably do pretty well.
yeah,
And I was like, huh, okay. And so I was just taking time wasted playing video games regardless. I'm like, well, I'll just stream while I do it. Like this is the
right.
like I would be doing this anyway. I would be playing these games anyway. So now if I just stream while I do it and like I bring a little bit of a performance to it or whatever, then it gives me something to do, you know what I mean? And it
Yeah,
gives me an outlet. And then when I started seeing like some sort of monetary compensation from it, it started making me like want to do it more, you know, obviously like anything else would, I suppose. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun for
yeah.
sure.
It's interesting. It's like a similar thing to like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's another
Yeah,
platform to figure out. All right, like if I do like this, what's my impact? Am I getting more subs or listeners this way?
exactly. Like I plan on doing it well. I mean, like outside of quarantine, I'm going to continue to do it because it's like, why not? It was a growing platform prior to quarantine, so it'll
Yeah.
continue to be outside of it. And you know, why not continue? Why not just keep going? Right. So I'm going to do that for sure, 100%. I'm going to just keep it going, and hopefully, I'll get this computer built soon and can elevate things.
And think about how many more gamers have discovered it during Corona. Like, all right, let's start playing video games.
Yeah, no, of course. That's the other thing. Like, a lot of people have been doing that, and like for girls, I mean, it's been like a lot of OnlyFans. You know, the same thing. Like a lot of women are just discovering that kind of end of things, and so people are figuring out these little ways to do this online gig community sort of gig economy kind of thing.
Totally. Well, I'm going to check out your streams after I hang up here. So,
Sounds good, dude.
Josh Potter, thanks so much for doing the pod. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can hang out soon.
Yeah, for sure, man. I hope I get to see you out there and about there again soon, real soon.
Real soon. Love it. All right. Take care.
Thanks, dude.